Quests are non-repeatable. The economy is based solely off of how players value items. The environment is fully destructible. Everything that you think should be in a realistic MMO is promised with all the bells and whistles to get you to strike that pledge button. And a lot of people, myself included to a degree, ate this shit up from Soulbound. I mean, what's not to love about the idea of your character aging from 12 to 14 real-world months until they die? What's not to love about having an heir to pass your character's skills and legacy down to? What's not to love about your character still training their skills, running their shop, and defending themselves via AI scripting while you're offline from the game? Well, okay, that last one not only sounds fucking impossible from a technical perspective, but also like a nightmare of uncertainty when you're away from the game. Imagine selling your last shield for the day before logging off at your blacksmith shop, and waking up in the morning to find your character has had their shop ransacked, their wife fucked, and their dog stuck in a minotaur labyrinth that someone crafted in their backyard using a shovel and 10 pallets of oak planks. But I mean, this stuff all sounded amazing. Maps made by players could be faked on purpose, making you really earn your reputation as a cartographer in order to have people buy from you. The combat system relied on skill and timing rather than waiting for a cooldown bar to tick and spamming buttons. Contracts could be drawn up between players to create shipping routes and procure rare ingredients for player-owned shops. Choosing for your character to be born into a family with specific physical attributes meant that you could only create your character to generally look like they were from that family, and not wind up with some purple-haired freak which would break the immersion. I could go on and on about what this game was supposed to be. And hell, I could probably just start making shit up alongside the devs. Yeah, let's see, your tools might chip a bit, which makes crafting harder. And if you paint your house and then lean on a part of the wall by accident, you might leave an imprint of your ass cheek on the wall. And every here and there, your character forgets that there's 6 steps on the staircase instead of 5, and they have that life flashing before their eyes moment where they think they're going to fall off the face of the earth. Regardless, all of the boasting did have people foaming at the mouth, lining up to secure their place in the closed alphas and betas and all that. That brings us to the pricing model. From what I could tell, it sounded like they were charging for their game up front, and then also having a subscription model on top of that. This subscription model allowed for people to buy lives. So like I said, your character was supposed to have lived for 12 to 14 real-world months, meaning that you'd be paying a yearly subscription more or less, with each soul costing around $30 US. The only kicker to this was that if your character kept dying in the game, their overall lifespan would decrease by 2 days at a time. The system was certainly unique, but definitely flawed. Had the game actually come out with this philosophy, I can only imagine a syndicate of griefers banding together to just start slaughtering people and taking 2 days off of their paid time repeatedly. I mean, sure, the devs had planned a whole jail system around this, but I'm unsure if it would have stopped people from terrorizing the quote-unquote honest folk. So with the Kickstarter, you could buy in at a $35 pledge and get one of their so-called sparks of life. If you paid more, you got access to stuff like extra mounts, beta access, pets, all the kind of stuff that you would expect from a Kickstarter campaign. Now the issue here is what happens when you have roles like kings and queens, dukes and duchesses, and other high-up management positions. I've seen some Kickstarter campaigns where the really big stuff winds up to be around 250 or so USD.
Be careful out there.
It's what I would consider to be about the limit of someone who really wants to help contribute in my eyes, especially if it comes with a lot of really cool in-game bonuses. With Chronicles of Valyria, in order to become a ruler of a kingdom, backers had to pledge 10,000 United States fun bucks, and 4 people did it. 3 people chipped in at $5,000 to design a creature or a fucking fighting style. 25 people bought in to become a duke or duchess at the low price of $3,500, and this kind of stuff went all the way through different points on the pledge chart. Design a relic for $2,500, a piece of jewelry for $2,000, a weapon for $1,500, a food or drink for $1,000, a tattoo or hairstyle for $750, and become a count or countess for $500 with a whopping 342 people backing that particular option. Now I can take the road here where I call out the devs for their greed, but people did know what they were supposed to get. And they made the big boy grown-up decision to sink a couple grand on a Kickstarter indie team with 0 games under its belt. The point is that people were sure, absolutely positive, that this game was going to come to fruition. Well, a little under 11,000 were sure of it at least. I think my favorite part about this whole Kickstarter is the pretentious drivel that was listed under the "Why Kickstarter" part of the campaign. We've turned to Kickstarter to fund this project because traditional game publishers won't take this risk. They are incentivized to clone the latest success and merely reskin it. But not all players want a WoW clone, or to play the same game every time. Our innovative ideas come from gamers, for gamers. Reading this might have actually unlocked the secret to time travel because I swear to God I smell Cheetos right now. Or maybe I just got reminded of it when I saw that every pledge package from $2,000 onwards included stuff ranging from a launch party invite to a private dinner to a gaming weekend with the devs.
Oh gosh, I hope the address is correct.
Hey, Chris! Or should I say, King Gunther?
It's Gunther.
Oh, come in, bro. We ordered some Domino's and we got a case of ice-cold Monster Energy. Well, I mean, it should be ice-cold by now, hopefully. Brandon forgot that we were starting at 8.
I told you daylight savings time just started.
Brandon? Not in front of King Gunther.
It's Gunther.
Anyways, come in. We just hooked up the LAN and we're gonna start with some COD 3. Everything after that one was garbage, as we all know. But once we get a few rounds of TDM in, we can switch over to some EverQuest 2 for a few hours before rounding it out with you guys watching me speedrun Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. I just started speedrunning, but I've gotten pretty good. This is gonna be so lit! Yo, you good with Totino's and Timbits for breakfast, bro? So with the Kickstarter fully funded with the 115th highest raised amount for a project at the time, and the team raring to go, Soulbound began hammering away at their masterpiece through the rest of 2016 in the hopes of getting the game out by an estimated date of December 2017. 2016 Kickstarter updates included tons and tons of concept art, vague screenshots, and animations which made it look like the studio was doing something with its time and money. Most of the time though, it was just the devs further elaborating on these enchanting systems that they consistently seemed to invent. The official website updates, on the other hand, were almost all entirely about getting the store working properly alongside the forums. Oh yeah, did I mention there was a store where you could buy nearly the same stuff that you could buy on Kickstarter? Well, there was, and it raised another $8 or so million over its lifespan for the developer. So grand total, rounding down, we're looking at a $9 million budget, or $8 million if they included the initial Kickstarter funding into the final figure. Alright, sure, let's put that into perspective. Take something like EverQuest. It was about as simple as an MMO could be for the most part upon its release in 1999, and that had a budget of about $3 million. When adjusted to 2016 standards, that's about $4.3 million. Now let's compare it to World of Warcraft's initial budget. The best info that we've got on that is a budget of $200 million over its first 4 years of development. So we'll divide that by 4 and adjust for inflation to come out to $63 million by 2016 standards. Alright, last one. Let's look at Star Wars: The Old Republic's development budget. Right. I'm not even going to adjust that for inflation. Now, I'm not going to sit here and discredit these games. They all had their moments in the sun, and they all made an impact on the MMO genre in some form or another, even with 2 of them dying off by now. But the important thing is that these games had a very tight focus of things that you could do. Explore places, follow a story if you want, do quests, level up, kill bosses, maybe do some side things that could be integrated into those previous steps. Chronicles of Illyria's focus was everywhere. It's an adventure game with a focus on combat and exploration. No wait, it's also a shopkeeping game about the economy. No, it's a hardcore survival game, but it's also a town management game. The game was trying to do everything with a severe lack of budget, even though $9 million sounds like a lot. To give one final set of examples, games like Borderlands 2, Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, and Half-Life 2 all multiplied this $9 million budget several times over during their development cycles. So with 2017 ringing in the new year, the team transferred all of their news from Kickstarter to their shiny website with pledge packages. And again, a lot of this tended to be Q&A coverage. But as much as I've been raking these guys through the coals, Soulbound actually did come up with quite a few new things to show off in time for PAX East in March of 2017. This all took place in the form of an offline demo. which was showcased to let players get a feel for the mechanics of the game, or at least the adventuring mechanics. The whole thing was done in Unreal and likewise looked very good graphically for an MMO, but obviously this still wasn't an MMO at this stage. Beyond this, the devs continued their habit of overextending into an absurd amount of features, which encompassed the likes of a 2D multi-user dungeon, or MUD, so that they could test their online features, and an isometric city management game which was supposed to be a major part of what the rulers of Illyria do when playing. These two whole other game modes wouldn't come into existence until later, and as PAX East came and went, the devs continued their cycle of showing screenshots and answering questions for months at a time. Say what you will from the outside looking in, Soulbound was very good at keeping its backers sated enough with new ideas, animations, and concept art to keep the naysayers to a minimum. And as someone who hadn't personally backed, I too thought that the studio was toiling away at their magnum opus. Because let's be honest, they were. But none of this ever really had a chance with the budget that they had and the time constraint that they self-imposed. So 2017 barreled on, with the main updates being various in-game animals coming to life, a voxel-based look for Illyria's MUD being settled on, and a pretty decent-looking jousting system being showcased. Additionally, the Soulbound team had picked up quite a few new employees which had worked on MMOs like World of Warcraft, Star Wars The Old Republic, and Guild Wars 2 for many years. Honestly, had the devs been looking at a 2020 release, I'd say that these updates were right on target. But by the end of the year, this is what the team had come up with. Hell, there wasn't even an update in November, which says a lot about how these guys were probably scrambling to get something more ready for the end of the year. And again, from the outside looking in, someone could easily look up Chronicles of Illyria at the time and see this intentionally ugly voxel-based imagery and wondering what the fuck was going on. So here comes 2018. And people are starting to get antsy, which is reflected pretty heavily in the blog updates. The first update of the year was that kind of, alright guys, we're ready to kick some ass and get things ready for this year. But the second update was a lot more telling, which was a long, flowing blog post packed with the usual semantics of, gee, developing a game sure does take a lot, and we set a pretty solid foundation in 2017. There were analogies which compared the hardships of game developing to architecture. There were reassurances of how much the studio truly accomplished in the past year. There were memes. Horrible, forced memes that I don't want any part of personally. But lastly, there was the promise that the people who pledged enough fun bucks to get access to the first alpha would definitely get to play the game no matter how finished it was in 2018. Now mind you, these were people who paid at least $350 on Kickstarter and God knows how much on the site's official shop. So this blog update wasn't enough to keep the negative energy from a chunk of the community at bay. 5 days later, a news update titled State of Illyria, State of the Studio gets pushed out explaining some of what was going on in the background. So basically these guys started approaching publishers and said something to the degree of, hey, we want to make an MMO with players that are always logged in, an AI which takes over for them when they're offline, and a focus on adventuring, shopkeeping, farming, town establishing, map making, player-created laws, death that affects how long a player can play for, physics-based landscape terraforming, animal taming and riding, and a couple hundred more features which we won't bore you with. Will you fund us? Well, the publishers, which didn't laugh them out of the room, said something along the lines of, yeah, sure, we'll fund you. But we're gonna want a return on our investment. We want loot boxes, microtransactions, something that gets people to spend money so that we can make money. And Soulbound, being the prolific gamer-oriented visionaries that they are, declined those offers. Alright, let's make something perfectly clear here. Do I like loot boxes? No. And that's obviously not a revolutionary, brave stance. But I do think that they can be done right. If loot boxes are purely cosmetic and offer no gameplay advantages, then I'm definitely more okay with them. If the same things that you can get in a loot box can be earned in-game, or you can earn the boxes themselves in-game, especially if the game's free-to-play, which I guess this one wasn't going to be, then I have no reason to be upset, honestly. I know not everyone shares that opinion, but sometimes games with super broad ideas that would normally take a lot of money to integrate, or games that are typically free-to-play otherwise, kind of need money to survive. That's just how things work. Now, I wasn't at these meetings, obviously.
It's first come, first serve, guys. I'm gonna drop the key in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2.
But at this stage, you've
Boom.
taken millions of dollars from random people with the assurance
Knock
that you would
yourself
deliver
out.
them what you've
That's
been working on.
one
You've
key.
hired people onto your team under
And
the
after
assumption
this
that they
match,
weren't
I'll
going to
drop
be
the next
canned a few
key.
months later. And the most fucked up part is that, as we established, those millions are only a fraction of what's needed to make something of this
It's for
magnitude in
Battlerite,
reality.
guys. If
So
you
when I see
hear
the
from
devs dismissing the idea
if you
that
are
they
here
would
from
never include something so
Mobile
heinous
Legends,
as loot boxes in their video game,
I
but
might stream it
ultimately
tomorrow,
foregoing
or
financial help
I
to
might
actually
stream it
make
after
the video
this.
game a video game,
I'm just trying
well,
to
it
get a
all
couple
kinda
of
seems
matches
like
in
a
because I
stupid
never played
decision
Battlerite for
ultimately,
like
especially when
the
they outright
server,
admit
maybe
in this
like 2
blog
weeks
post
now.
that they knew that they would never be able to
And
continue
I had
working
this
on the
key
game at the
from the
rate that they
developer,
wanted to without the aid
and
of a publisher.
it seems like I'm
Integrity
holding
is
on to the
great
key,
until
but
it chains you to the
I
ground
just
and makes
haven't
you
played a
unable to
game
get
yet
your game off
because
its feet.
I'm
But
setting
this
up
lack
my
of good
PC and
decision-making
stuff.
ultimately only continued to make
So
itself
I'm just trying to
evident when
get some
Soulbound
matches in.
continued to put out stuff like these half-finished animations that might normally be a fun pet project for a Hearthstone ad. And the whole, hey guys, I promise we're still working on the game and are involved in the community, haha, only seemed to get more desperate at this stage as stuff like a Discord screenshot was posted to prove that the devs are still active in the community. See? Us all saying the same thing one right after another intentionally totally proves that we answer questions and ingratiate ourselves into the community. Of course, this is before blog updates disappeared for another month in February. Store updates and reservations for various in-game stuff continued to roll out as usual, but the actual in-game footage trickled to a crawl. Sure, there were some various new lore blurbs that were vomited out every here and there, but not a lot of visually reassuring footage was presented beyond some character creation stuff which looked to be slightly more advanced than what had been shown before. I think the funniest thing to look back on in these updates were the meet the mods aspect of them. These chunks of text had people learning about the moderators of Illyria's various sites and social media, and were always followed by information on one of Illyria's player-made kingdoms. Kingdom colors, black, red, and gold. Nice. Alright, let's see. Red and black, red and gold, red and black, black, gold, and red. Ooh, red, black, and gold. Usually this chunk of a blog update would take a solid third to over half the update. The worst part about these non-updates was the fact that a lot of these ideas sounded really good. Most of them were really thought out. The crafting update in particular utilized a lot of jargon to make it seem like the devs knew exactly what they wanted to do and how they were going to approach it. But again, without anything besides walls of text and still images, they might as well have just been updating their Twitter feed with what ifs. And like I said before, these cool features were just
Oh no,
further
he
from
has
actual
ultimate
development.
Jesus Christ.
It's almost as if a day at Soulbound
I did not see
consisted
that.
of rolling into the office, sitting around with a group of people, and going, "Alright guys, today's topic is communication." And then people just started tossing up ideas. Well, what if someone wanted to be anonymous, and they put on a hooded cloak and it hid their nameplate? Well, what if someone wanted to forge a new identity for a specific kingdom? And they just came up with how that would work. Meanwhile, Greg, who's been programming water physics all night, is falling asleep at his desk while the idea people go to lunch without him. Anyways, half the year went by before Alpha 1 was finally mentioned again. And what was mentioned was that it would simply exist. Well, sure, there were details on how it would work, but nothing new on when it would work. The thing is, these guys knew that their lifeblood was crowdfunding. Anything to make the game look like it was progressing at a rapid pace. Anything to keep people involved. Contests, sales, events, you name it. And by August, these contests, sales, and events were basically the main things that Soulbound had actually produced. And the worst, or maybe the best part about all of this, is that it actually did work to a degree. Because I remember the Searing Plague event making enough ripples for me to actually go check it out at the time. It was a simple kind of time waster thing, but it got me to the site, it got me thinking that these guys were hammering away at the game, and most importantly, it got me looking at pledges again, which I thankfully did not actually buy. By October, the community seemed to once again get rightfully concerned about the lack of actual gameplay footage from Soulbound. There's only so many times that you can show someone a still image of something in game before people start going, "Alright, cool, but can you make it?"
Roke won't get the ores, bro. The orbs are right there.
The October update again started coming up with a
I cannot
metaphor
save
to
him.
describe building a game. This one was about cars. But just like with cars, people quickly wanted to see what the game was going to look like. Well, yeah, and just like with cars, people tend to want to see it go vroom vroom when they drop $10,000 on a deposit for one. Of course, the blog post continued to instead flaunt things that they did get done, which was accompanied as always by hardly any evidence of it. The best part was how much they continued to talk about their mud, which had now moved away from voxel graphics and was now in the process of being converted to low poly meshes in the Unreal Engine. Again, this mud was almost exclusively for testing online functionality in their client. It was something taking up a huge chunk of time just getting it to work properly, and it wasn't anything that the players would be able to use.
Oh shit.
Yes, that's what the backers want to hear about. And so October blew by with more updates about the mud than anything else beyond another lore dump and the infamous Metamod feature. At this stage, we can comfortably split blog updates and news updates into their actual categories. Fluff with a side of features and distractions with a side of please fund us.
This crook is not bad, guys.
Voting on what each server wanted its map to look like. This was followed by November's news of players being able to select which server they wanted to be on. I actually participated in both of these events while still managing to cling onto my wallet, thankfully. But as far as the rest of the year went, nothing. I mean, not nothing, but it may as well have been. November and December saw the same amount of blog updates combined as October, and offered about half the substance. And now we're at 2019, and shit's starting to hit the fan, but slowly.
Jumong is on the enemy team, and they have a crook.
Small, but it's happening.
If you guys don't know Battlerite, Juma is a ranged DPS, crook is a melee assassin.
The community was kept safe from not safe for work spamming bots because someone built a bot to stop this from happening. Fantastic start. Then the rest of the update showcased 5 sets of armor over 4 bullet points of information. And the kicker was that the Meet the Mod section had been redacted because the mod had no longer wanted to be associated with Soulbound anymore. Uh-oh. At this stage, Alpha 1 participants were getting fed information by the Soulbound team on a private forum. And the only public bit of info which we got was that nothing was happening. Yet. So anyways, here's March. In this update, we see Soulbound hire another 3 to 20 people and double their office space size. A great sign if they had, say, a large publisher backing them. A not so great one when all of their income comes from crowdfunding. As a reminder, our goal for the completion of release 0.5.0 is to have a complete, playable game, composed of all the many features that we've been working on over the last 18 months or so. We knew it was going to take a lot of hard work, so the studio entered a bit of a heads-down, focused mindset. No longer content to just tell you about what we're working on, the team has committed to showing you.
Your team claimed the orb.
Alexa, what is Chronicles of Illyria?
Chronicles of Illyria is an upcoming MMORPG.
Oh shit, no! That was gonna be funny.
Thanks.
Alright, so we're at the very edge of that stalling for time phase before people start to.
What am I listening to? I'm listening to MMO's failures.
Soulbound has now began showcasing some of the in-game footage of their low poly client that started out as their mud. And boy, does it sure look like a game. Moving on. So April comes and Soulbound has decided to start letting players stake out land on their maps in a game that doesn't exist in any form besides its Soulbound's office. This process takes 4 months of time and is the only thing reported on during it besides farming. The mere concept of farming is explained in great detail along with gorgeous one-frame animations that really showcase what a carrot looks like. The team has now ran out of mods to interview and has resorted to interviewing their Discord bot instead. The team has run out of red, black, and gold kingdoms to ask about and is now scrambling to find more backers in order to fill this niche. The fan is on medium, and the shit is starting to pile up. In mid-August, Soulbound posts another strangled plea, which amounts to them posting 4 videos from various developers talking about how hard it is to make games on time, while also ensuring that they point out the existence of No Man's Sky and how it went from hated to beloved. This seems to stave off criticism for a month as a new mod is featured in the Metamod section, and a new kingdom in the illusory crimson red and gold flavor is showcased. While this combination of colors does sate people for August, Soulbound then makes the fatal mistake of not doing the same in September, and instead finally feel cornered enough to show off their mud adaptation dubbed Prelyrium. Now, mind you, this is the same
No,
fucking
no.
client that they've insisted is only for internal
I
testing.
keep missing
and
my
maybe an
abilities.
alpha or two. But despite all of their sidestepping, they finally released about 10 minutes of a game that looks worse than RuneScape did in 2009.
Should I play some music,
which
guys?
is probably the worst thing that
I
they
got
could have
you.
done after stalling for this long. People were absolutely furious, openly mocking the studio in the video's comment section and demanding that the studio lawyer up. Oh, but that didn't stop Soulbound. Instead of going, oh right, maybe we should pin a comment with a disclaimer for the general public. Or maybe we should just unlist that video so
Gotta find
random
that
people don't
music.
get the wrong idea. Or maybe we should talk and say, hey, this is just kind of an internal testing model. We just want to show off.
Okay, another keys about to drop in 3 seconds. Go. Why is the thing not going to Twitch? There's the key there. Deeper, much deeper. My demeanor, much deeper. Fever as a husband. Fever as a husband. Fever as a husband. What a cliche. No, zero. Don't you call. Miles. You go. Yes. We are going against Freya and Alicia. Alicia is a spell mage. Freya is a bruiser. Berserker, whatever. Melee DPS. I got a healer. Pearl. I'm playing the assassin we played earlier. Against earlier. Now this assassin got stealth, camouflage, they call it. And he got 2 leaps. And he got EX. Each character has their own EX. And he has his ultimate, his R. It's more of a buff than a raw DPS. Each character I think have 2 ultimates. One is more like a buff and the other is a full on burst DPS thing. Now when I leap onto somebody, I can charge my abilities, which increases my attack speed, allowing me to continue my rotation on them, doing insane damage. And that was one of his ultimate, is F. You dash across the enemy, mark them, and it explodes, doing insane damage. It also does AoE damage. So if other people are around Freya, for example, if Alicia was there, it will do I think half of the damage onto Alicia as well. So I'm focusing the range DPS right now because she does insane damage and Freya kinda counters my pick, so I'd rather go against the character that I counter, in a sense, that I can be aggro against without being punished hard, than go against my counter. And I have a healer, so I don't have to worry about protecting her because she's pretty... she got good sustain. Now I don't know if they use their space here. Okay, Alicia just used her space, which means I can ult them. And so in this game, it's all like it's like a chess match. You gotta like watch your enemy's abilities and time yours. As you guys can see, I try to stun her there with my with this boost, but she timed it properly and she jumped and I wasn't able to stun her. So it's all about timing your abilities like chess. And this game, it has lag to it, but honestly the only reason why the game is lagging is when you are playing in a region that is not yours. And players have to play in a region that is not theirs because of the population. This game can get converted into a MOBA, into an MMO where you have quests and dailies and stuff. And it will be pretty fun. Like, networking is really difficult. That's the hardest part in making a game, and this game seems to have everything covered pretty much. So you guys can see Freya is doing decent damage. Now that we are taking a lot of damage, it's time for me to start using my EX abilities, which will kind of mitigate the amount of incoming pressure from Freya or from both of them, because as Crook, my EX can blind the enemy, and my camouflage, if I EX, I can increase the duration, allow me to incapacitate two people. Actually, not incapacitate. I can incapacitate one person and stun one person. And those are different because incapacitate lasts a bit longer than stun. And yeah. And I think incapacitate doesn't do damage, where I think stun does a little bit of initial damage. I'm not sure about that, but it's different. Anyways, we have one person from our friend list online. He actually streamed. His name is Erie. You guys should check him out. He streams often, and he also is working on a BLC Battlerite Community League, I guess, Championship League or something, and it's a Discord server. I'm actually working on a Discord server, but my Battlerite community is not good, so I am slowly fading away from this community, and oh shit. What's up, Zeef? How you doing, man? I noticed you logged on because like you are the only person in my friends list who is online pretty much. Just woke up, bro. It's 1:25 a.m. It's my turn to go to bed. 8 a.m. That's cool. Yeah, man, I've been playing Mobile Legend, and Mobile Legend got like insane potential if you want to grow your channel and stuff, and like get a lot of views. Mobile Legend, like I just streamed like casually once, and I had like 300 views on my YouTube channel, and it was crazy. So after that, I started playing Mobile Legend. I have my YouTube channel for like, I don't know, 4 years now, and I really haven't taken it seriously. So I have like, up to now, I have like 100 something subscribers, which is not good, because I've seen people just start a YouTube channel like in a week and have like thousands of subs because they play the right game and they have the right community support and stuff. That game's pretty fun. I played it for a couple of weeks. Yeah, dude, I'm epic. I'm epic 2 right now. The only problem is like, since there are a lot of people playing the game, is the skill. Oof, there's a stun coming out from the Auric here, but Destiny got stun as well. So now this healer is Auric. Auric is a melee healer. He's really strong against melee characters because he got his own stun, which charges quite often, and he can passively charge it. I mean, he can actively charge it by dashing towards his allies. I'm gonna go for the incap here to steal this orb, and now that Auric seems to be in pressure, I mean out of cooldowns, I'm gonna try to pressure him. He's gonna dash away with his EX, and can get an aggro here, try to line this up. Jumo is pretty much dead.
Your team won the orb. Round 1.
Yeah, dude. When I stream Mobile Legend, I get like 8 views on average, which is like pretty much like the highest amount of views that I've ever had in streaming, pretty much. Well, yeah, for average, like on a consistent basis, like persistent thing. I've had like more than 8 viewers before, obviously, but having had like 8 viewers day 1, day 2, day 3 in a row, and to see that amount of number at a persistent basis, it's quite encouraging. So yeah. See, with Crook, he's very mobile, but he tends to make his players a little bit more aggro than they should be. Even though he's mobile, it doesn't mean that you should always be in the middle of the enemies. If they are playing 4C with you, you should play 4C back. Don't rush it. Unless you know like your abilities are off cooldowns and stuff, then you can go in there. If we can keep them out of the map and like pressure whoever leaves, we can always control. Hold on, how did he miss that? I think he's nervous, yo. The Jumong is nervous. I'm gonna use my EX here just to help my allies regroup. We can probably get the mid orb. No. Jade is pressuring my backline. I'm gonna get a stun on her. Gonna blind the Auric there. Gonna get that pick on the Jade there. She's a ranged DPS and she got stealth, so she's pretty good at going to backline. So if I can blind somebody like that who has the potential to put so much pressure on our DPS, on our main DPSs, it increases our chance to win. And as a melee character, you are kind of like a tank, so you have to like be there to assist your allies. I'm gonna blind ult here. Get on the Jumong. He dodged my ultimate. I'm gonna take him out with my double lounge. No, it's just lounge. No, I think I'm saying the wrong. I'm saying the wrong talent. This is Frog Leap. I'm gonna kill him with my Frog Leap, guys. I'm still a noob. Yeah, this game is really cool because of character customization. It got a networking part set. The UI is not like clutter. The UI makes sense. Everything about this game is good. It's just the dev mentality, like the overall like perception of the game. That's the only thing that's the burden on this game, pretty much. The problem with this game. Gonna get a blind here. Oof, I got saved there because. Alright, Jade is putting a lot of pressure in our backline here. And as you guys can see, these characters have counters, some of them. Auric, for example, if you attack him, you hit his counter, he can blind your allies, like his shield there. I'm gonna try to finish the Auric here. Hopefully I don't get blind. Now, if we can keep them split up, it will be hard for them to track each other, which will make them want to be more aggro, which will allow us to kill them faster because one of our allies just died. I cannot see the enemies right now, so gonna get a kill there on the Jumong. I got a healer here and it's 2v2, but now Jay just got assassinated. but a nice snipe by the pro there. So 1v2, and Jumong, he got sustained, but it's not that good. He got nerfed. I'm so pretty like a Barbie doll. Your dad didn't hug you. Okay, so apart from game development, I think the community for Battlerite is also I don't know, man. I think it's like a pyramid, bro. Like it's a pyramid scheme type of thing going on. The dev don't take care of the game don't take care of the community, and the community don't take care of each other. So it just works from top to bottom. I am gonna queue as Freya here. Show you guys passively aggressive character. I am playing like Nintendo. Oh, another key, guys. One more key giveaway. Loot by checks. You can always, if you have Steam, you can always hop into Steam and redeem your loot box for Battlerite. Battlerite is a third-person action mobile game. And in 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna paste the code. And that is the last of the loot by chess keys for now. Your boy Eerie is in the match. Yo, Eerie, are you in the chat? Have you played V-Rising? Anybody play V-Rising? Just unlock newest game. I wonder if I should buy it. I'm gonna wait for the price to go down. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it though. I'm hearing the PvP is very generic. And I only play like games with like stealth characters. Like if it doesn't have stealth character, like I would just, I don't know, I'll like play for a little bit, but I would just quit and I'll probably never return. So I played a I don't know, Russian game called Panzoid. I don't even know. Hold up. Let me see if this game is still on Steam. PN. I don't know if I'm spelling this right. Is it Pan? No, Paragon. Paragon is. I think Paragon was like a MOBA. Panzoid. MOBA. I swear this game. It got a Russian name, like a foreign name, so I don't remember it, but yo, were you able to make League last night? Hey yo, Creditoni? I don't know how to pronounce the name, but I did not play like after I quitted a brawl match. I just stopped queuing, and I think I got an interview tomorrow. But I might queue up after, I guess after this match. I'll just end the stream and then I can queue up about Mobile Legend. I wanted to pay my tribute to Battlerite community because this is my base, and it's like Christian, dude. Where are you the Filipino guy, or where are you from? I think I played with a Filipino guy yesterday, and my ping was 243 something. It was kind of crazy. If you are like close to the US, maybe we can queue together. I'm actually looking for a pre-made, because that will like make my ranking up process super easy if I'm queuing with like guys who know how to play the game and stuff. Whoopsie. Where's my ally? Man, I gotta get out of there, and I gotta get these green orbs. See, Freya EX is like the strongest EX for melee character in the game, and added that to her M1. It's the strongest in the game so far. Her M1 always, like, it's almost always off cooldown if you have like the double M1, this ability. You can do this and stun people. And the cool thing about it is that it's a range attack, which means you don't have to be close to people. Which means if you are going against ranged DPSs, you don't have to walk into them and eat a lot of damage. You can just stay far and poke at them. Something like that. Croak just used 2 of his abilities. Oof. It's been a while since I played this game, so and Freya is not that easy for me. So I'm clicking a bunch of stuff, but as you guys can see, I just got an E cap there. And you can do E caps for days because you add that to our EX abilities. Hello. Oh, I just forfeited. I'm your mama. Sorry about your boy. It really do be like hey, hold on, what? It really do be the Chinese? What? What is he saying, bro? Get out of here. Alright guys, before I start showing how terrible I am at Battlerite, I will end the stream here and go into Mobile Legends and try to rank up to Legends itself. And I will see you guys maybe every Sunday. I'll try to stream Battlerite. But yeah, my content is kind of moving elsewhere, I guess. It's damaged goods. You really can't fix it unless it fixes itself. So yeah, peace out, guys.